To continue our mini unit on parts of speech, this is number 2 of 4. Today we're talking about verbs. Once again, we're starting out with our objectives, just like we did with our video on nouns, which, if you happen to stumble upon this video first, I would recommend checking out nouns just so that we can get all of our orders straight. Now, our objectives. We are going to understand the definition of verbs and explore exactly what falls under the category of verb within the English language. And then, once again, locate the verbs within a sentence and then get a little bit of practice in. So our definition for verbs, we're looking for either an action or a state of being. I think there was an old Nickelodeon commercial that I would watch that they were talking about verbs, and they were saying like, verbs, it's what you do. Which obviously, yeah, that's an action, but it doesn't quite cover the entire substance under the umbrella because, as we just talked about, it is also a state of being. So, just the bare bones, the actions. This is running, reading, walking, studying. You get the idea. They don't necessarily always have to be gerunds, which are these things with ing at the very end. But just to try and think of that framework, they are actions. It is what you do. But with a state of being, if I were to say I am mad, that's my state of being. I am currently mad. Am would be the verb there. And it is important to note that verbs, they are essentially the pillars of sentences. You won't find a complete sentence that doesn't have a verb in it. Okay, so for the 3 examples that we have here that I've already outlined for you, we are now going to be circling our verbs. And just like we did with the last video, which is why I want you to check out nouns first, we're still going to be boxing those nouns in blue, just to keep these things orderly and to see how all of these parts of speech move within a sentence. So for our first example, I drink milk at lunch. Drink, that's going to be our action. That is something that I am doing, and I am drinking milk. That's a thing. At lunch, another thing, a time of day. And with the second one, my car needs gas. The 2 nouns, it's car and gas. My car is the thing that needs gas, and the action needs. That is what it needs. Then for number 3, I am sleepy. This is another instance of state of being. I, as we covered in our first video, it's a pronoun, so it's a noun, but technically something a little bit added on extra. And am, that is our state of being. I am sleepy. So with these more complex examples, they're actually the same examples that we had in the noun video. I've taken the liberty of boxing all of our nouns first so that we may focus on our verbs, however, still keep an eye on the nouns that we had already made ourselves familiar with. So with our first sentence, I carried all the groceries back from the car in one trip. Now, what is the foundation of this sentence? What is this sentence relying on? What are we trying to do with this sentence? I'm trying to explain that I carried all of the groceries back from the car in one trip. That is our verb. That's an action. Next, is there a holiday that celebrates endless pancakes? So what is the pillar of this sentence? Celebrates. I am trying to ask if there's some sort of day that highlights the importance of pancakes in the human existence. And then lastly, my schedule says that I have English after math. So we are talking about my schedule here. That is the subject of our sentence, and we are talking about what the schedule says. There we go. Wrong color at first, but that is a verb, and we are circling it. So I am talking about an action that my schedule is essentially doing, which is saying that I have English after math. We've arrived at our practice set of problems. Some of these sentences may look familiar to you, however, they're not all the same. So I would like you to practice boxing those nouns still, just to refresh yourself on identifying people, places, things, and ideas/concepts, while also linking them together with the actions that they may or may not be performing, which, as we know now, are our verbs. So please pause this video. I'm going to do a little countdown on the bottom of the screen, And when it gets to 1, that's when all of the answers are going to pop up on the board. So use that to check all of your answers, or if you just like to skip straight to them, feel free. But I hope you accomplished something over the course of this video, and as always, if you have any more questions, please let me know. So here are all of our answers for this final problem set. I hope you were able to identify both all of the nouns, pronouns, and as I've said, not all of these are going to be exact nouns, especially like these I's over here. Yeah, there, them, me. They won't always be nouns, but again, that's not quite the focus of this video. The main part is I hope you found all the verbs. As we could see, there are many nouns that find themselves in all of our sentences and all of the speech that we end up creating over the course of our day. But the very cornerstone of all of these sentences is, of course, all of our verbs, our actions, and our states of being. I hope you learned something over the course of this video, and like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Happy learning.